Hello, it's Mikey here, Mikey Vessel. I'm here for Fog 3, Fog Reactions, with me and Timothy Parks. Today we're going to be reacting to a video that is about an actress, I think, that I had not heard of, Madeleine Smithson, I think, something. Madeleine Smith, and I was intrigued personally that someone thought she was someone I needed to know about. So without further ado, I will click the link and react to the video. Here goes. As an advert, of course. I'm skipping the advert. Okay, so
the secret life of actresses is often very exciting. Actresses often have very exciting lives, come from difficult backgrounds before they actually reach the top of their career. The same is true for some of the many secrets hiding behind the life of Madeleine Smith.
I don't recognize
But before we get into the video, make sure you subscribe to the channel and leave us a comment below saying, "I subscribed." We're going to do our best to personally reply to your comments. A middle-class upbringing. Madeleine was born in Hartfield, Sussex in 1949. She was the only child of Robert and Ursula Smith. Her father owned a successful antique shop and painting restoration business, which allowed the family enough money to be middle class. Her mother was a translator of Swedish origin. Madeleine received convent school education and was a very good student. However, she didn't have many ambitions, so she mostly turned to TV to be inspired by other women. These were usually models and actresses. She loved the world of glamour and was planning on becoming a part of it for a long time, but had no idea where to start. So this is where a very special opportunity presented itself to the young Madeleine, and she absolutely made the most of it. First job and the start of a modeling career. So in her late teens, Madeleine was looking for a job to make some money for herself. Although her family did well on their own, she was not one to bother her parents about money, so she looked for a job at a store. She was soon hired at Biba, which is a famous boutique that was located in Kensington High Street, London.
Kensington
High Street. She was an excellent employee and very beautiful. In fact, she was so attractive that she soon attracted the attention of the owner of Biba, Barbara Polnicki. Barbara suggested that Madeleine would be an excellent model. She had a great figure, and above all, she had a lot of charm. So Madeleine took her advice and decided to take a shot at modeling. So it didn't take long for Madeleine to find her first modeling job. She was soon featured in many magazines and started to build a career out of it. Soon she was also noticed by cartoonist J. Edward Oliver, who frequently featured her in his work called Disc. In fact, he made several issues entirely dedicated to Madeleine, called The Life and Habits of Madeleine Smith.
That looks interesting.
First, film roles. So after working as a model for a couple of years, Madeleine decided to try her hand at acting. She had a lot.
Are we allowed to pause in the reaction? It's going to go out of sync. I like the comic. I like the idea that she is fiction within so-called real life, which is not really that real, is it? The modeling, but the comic somehow feels more real.
Madeleine decided to try her hand at acting. She had a lot of charm, so acting came naturally to her. Her first film role was in a movie called Escalation in 1968. Once this film was released, she was quickly noticed by Hammer Productions, a studio that specializes in horror films. Although the horror genre did not receive a lot of respect from the industry at the time, it was a great way for actors to make money and also to become known to a wider audience. Many filmgoers love to watch horror movies as couples or as a fun outing for teens, so it was a good move for Madeleine. Now, the first Hammer Productions film that she appeared in was Taste the Blood of Dracula, in which she played the small role of an East End prostitute. She continued working with Hammer Productions on several other movies before turning to more serious film roles. Bigger film roles. So as she became more and more popular, Madeleine was offered some excellent movie roles of her own. Those included Tam Lin, The Vampire Lovers, Frankenstein and the Monster from Hell, and The Amazing Mr. Blunden. Now, her biggest movie role came in 1973 when she played the Bond girl, Miss Caruso, in the Bond film Live and Let Die. This was also the first James Bond movie starring Roger Moore. It was a very important role for her because it brought a lot of press and notice from fans. Interestingly, Madeleine was recommended for the role by Roger Moore himself, who saw her in other productions and loved her look and acting skills. First, True Love and Marriage. More movie roles. So in 1975, Madeleine met fellow actor David Buck. Their love was instant, and their passionate relationship led to them marrying the same year. Soon they had a daughter together called Emily. Madeleine often described David as the love of her life and spoke passionately about their family. During this time, Madeleine's acting career was also blossoming. She became a member of the Cambridge Theatre Company, a huge theater production company that was famous for its many plays across the country. Some of her appearances with this company included Canaries Sometimes Sing and The Mousetrap. It seemed that every performance by Madeleine was an absolute hit, and she had by now established herself as a serious actress. TV show appearances, and a tragedy. After the birth of her daughter, Madeleine slowly decided to move away from the very hectic schedules of movies and spend more time with her husband and daughter. This is the period during which she appeared on TV more often. Some of her famous TV roles include Doctor at Large, The Two Ronnies, Casanova, and The Howard Confessions. Although her career was going well and she had a lot more time to spend with her family, a tragedy struck in 1989. David Buck suddenly passed away without any previous illnesses. It was a huge shock for Madeleine, and she has mentioned many times that even years after, she was never recovered from losing the love of her life. David was well remembered by his colleagues and was known as a wonderful person and a respectable actor. Later life. So after losing her husband, Madeleine decided to wind down from her career even more. She needed to be there for her daughter, who had lost her father at too young of an age. She played a few smaller roles here and there, but ultimately stopped acting until 2011. Now, this was a very long break in the acting world, and Madeleine often worried that no one would remember her when she decided to return. However, things turned out better than she expected. She started her comeback with a cover on the coffee table book Hammer Glamour, who interviewed her about her life in great detail. When she finally returned to acting, she started by appearing in an episode of Doctors. Then she worked on the series Dancing on the Edge and Not Going Out.
When I'm 16.
So, skipping the
These were both
adverts.
popular TV shows, and many people in the UK loved watching them. For Madeleine, this meant that the audience was getting to know her again, and thus she was able to continue her acting career. To this day, Madeleine continues to work as an actress. However, she still chooses to play smaller roles that will allow her to have more time for her family. She did recently appear in several TV shows, including Bargain Hunt, Celebrity Mastermind.
My favorite, Bargain Hunt.
Madeleine has always chosen to keep her private life private. Much is known about her daughter or any private romantic relationships that she may have had after the passing of her husband. However, this is for the best. The privacy that Madeleine cherishes so much has allowed her to live a normal life while also being able to pursue her passion in acting. Many film lovers will also remember her from her James Bond appearance, as well as many comedy films where her star was able to shine. So have you heard of Madeleine Smith? What do you think
We
of
have
her
now.
James Bond appearance? Let us know in the comments below. And check out the next video in this series.
Well, I was intrigued by the Hammer horror career, which I wasn't aware of. I'm sure I've seen some of Madeleine's films, though. And yes, we at Fog are, of course, hugely drawn to the opening into a visceral aesthetic that horror offers, unlike the pure fantasy of Live and Let Die, which is somehow more patronizing and controlling, although entertaining at the same time. Thank you, Madeleine, for your lovely offering of acting and visceral hyper aesthetic. This has been Fog.